But on the other issue, Mr. Speaker, the person who needs protection, I think, is the Murang'a Member of Parliament, because I don't know why that people are just finding, they're just tripping there, because even Honorable Sankok was right there. Now he was jealous that KJ has taken the same seat. So I think you need to actually protect Honorable Sabina Chege.
Now, you see, Honorable KJ, the issue of boy child, let's bring the issue of, I don't know what that outfit of Mr. Kibori is called, but whatever it is, that conference is not very relevant here. But there are actually members who are flouting, including the member for Homa Bay. The member for Homa Bay, that's the chair, education. Now, I wouldn't accuse her because she's seated perfectly where she's supposed to, because it is a seat that is designated. But that other member who has come very close, is somebody I would be asking, is that the Honorable Sotsi? Yes. What is it, Honorable Sotsi? You could definitely not be, conversing on issues to do with Homa Bay. You come from, but being a nominated member, you could be all over, So please. So let's leave it at that. Now, what do you have to say, the Honorable Chege? What is it that is bringing? I mean, is there any issue? Is it COVID issues? What is it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the first person to explain to us the problem is yourself, because you are the first one to.
Now you are completely out of order. Now you are completely out of order. You are going
Mr. Speaker, I only passed. I didn't stand in between the Speaker and yourself. I quickly passed and assumed my position. And Mr. Speaker, it's marked seat here. And I was consulting with Honorable KJ because of blood transfusion bill that he has a concern whether it will be on this afternoon. And so, Mr. Speaker, my apologies if I distracted you in any other way.
Yes.
Apart from just passing by.
Your apologies are accepted, and do not flout the standing orders again.
Thank you. I stand guided, Mr. Speaker.
Nothing should come in between the Speaker and the person contributing on the floor.
Especially not me. And Mr. Speaker, just again to confirm what Honorable Omolo said, I just came in through the gate and I was tested my temperature. I was given the sanitizer. So the security people are doing a good job, unless the Honorable Dr. Pukosa has been sneaking in Parliament through other routes. But the main gate, right now, Mr. Speaker, if you actually send somebody there, they are doing the testing and also sanitizing members at this point. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That will be confirmed, and we would also want to ask them to up their game now, because we really have to, keep our guard. I think it is important. Honorable members, on a very serious note, please have your masks on and avoid getting very close to each other. Let's keep social distance. Thank you very much. So we proceed with our questions. The Honorable Member for Butere seems not to be in the House. But the next member, other members, the next member, that's the member for Kikuyu, the Honorable Ishungwa, has indicated to us that actually the majority whip should read the question on his behalf, but I don't even see the majority whip. So we'll proceed to the next one, which is by the member for Kilifi North, the Honorable Owen Baya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 020 of 2021 to the Cabinet Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain when the government will address the plight of the residents of Takaungu, Kilifi North constituency, who have endured years of neglect, disservice, and historical injustices in their own motherland with regard to settlement and land ownership? 2, what specific affirmative and other measures is the government pursuing to assist residents of Takaungu, Kilifi North constituency in securing their livelihoods through settlements and issuance of title deeds? And lastly, when will the government finalize compensation for the Mazrui family's land in Takaungu, Kilifi North constituency for settlement of squatters, considering that funds had been allocated for compensation in the financial year 2019-2020 supplementary budget? I thank you, Honorable.
Very well. That will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Lands. Next is the member for Muranga, Honorable Sabina Chege. You have a question you want to ask, or you do not have the information there? Yes, proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I start to ask the question number 021 of 2021. And this question goes to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination and National Government. Mr. Speaker, my question is, what is the status of the investigations into the death of Ms. Judy Wanjiku of ID number 33767891, who was thrown out of a moving vehicle registered KCZ 729C belonging to Member Sacco in Juja? Secondly, what immediate actions have been taken against the owners of the motor vehicle as well as the Member Sacco for causing the death of Ms. Judy Wanjiku? Number 3, could the ministry consider taking punitive measures against the Member Sacco, including registering it from conducting passenger service operations? And 4, within which timelines will the family of Mrs. Judy Wanjiku be compensated for the loss of the life of their loved one? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Now, the Honorable Majority Whip, you can ask the question on behalf of the member for Kikuyu, and I could see the...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just a minute. Now this is something that we would want to really... I can see the Honorable Member of Kikuyu, putting up his hand. Now, I do understand, and the only other member who would have asked on his behalf would have been the Majority Whip, because I had received information that is the one to ask, so it could not have been anybody else. If any member would wish a member to ask a question on their behalf, they must be able to give that information. Proceed, the Honourable Member for Kikuyu.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for your indulgence and having allowed the Honourable Whip. I'm panting because I came running, Honourable Speaker, from the gate because of traffic. Honourable Speaker, I beg to ask question number 015 of 2021 to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, 1, whether the Cabinet Secretary is aware that as a result of government policy, the prices of raw hides and skins from our local abattoirs have greatly declined, thus negatively impacting the livelihoods of thousands of our people. Why does the government allow the importation of raw hides and skins from neighboring countries, while at the same time stopping Kenyan traders from exporting the same raw hides and skins, as was the case before? 3, why did the government of Kenya ban exportation of unprocessed skins and hides from Kenya, yet it does not provide facilities for value addition and processing of raw hides and skins? Within what timelines shall this ban be lifted? 4, why has government failed to complete construction of the Kinanie leather processing plant in Athi River, Machakos County, and what plans are there to complete this facility and any other similar ones across the country? 5, how will the government of Kenya enable Kenyans, and particularly operators of abattoirs in Ruai and Dagoretti market that traverses between Kikuyu and Dagoretti South constituencies, to access markets that fetch good pricing for their hides and skins, and to address the declining prices of hides and skins in the country? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Okay, that one will be replied to before the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Now, the Honourable Members, order member, order. What is it? I'm not giving you the floor. Is it No. That cannot be allowed. On an issue of question, there cannot be any, there will not be any intervention. There will be order, Honourable Member. Take your seat. Now take your seat. So, the Honourable Member for Homa Bay has had her motion approved. And therefore, I'm thinking, rather than we push it to the afternoon, we can actually dispense with it now. If you allow me to. Bogikaria.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. This one was, I can't remember exactly which order it was when the Chief Whip did move. I think he was laying some reports regarding the foreign donation issues, and it did touch on Committee on Energy. Honourable Speaker, I would wish, because we are looking at the implementation of the budget, that you direct the table office to avail these documents so that we could be able to pick the few copies of what involves the respective departments, so that we can be able to do some scrutiny on a few of those issues. Honourable Speaker.
Obviously, I didn't get what you are saying, the Honourable Gikaria. You may need to repeat again.
And now, Honourable Speaker, I was really.
She has now come to you. What is it, Honourable Gikaria? Proceed, Honourable Gikaria.
Thank you.
And I want you to concentrate. What is it, Honourable Gikaria?
You know, Honourable Speaker, I even tried to raise my voice so that your eyes
Proceed,
could be...
Honourable Gikaria. What is your...
Honourable Speaker, I was saying the Chief Whip did table some reports regarding foreign donation issues that affect part of our committee's work. So I was asking, with your humbleness, to direct the table office to avail those reports, because we are having a meeting on Tuesday morning so that our committee could be able to go through.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That one is noted. It will be done. So the Honourable Member for Homa Bay.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its inquiry into the optimization of revenue in grain handling services at the Port of Mombasa, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, November 26, 2020. I also beg to give notice of the following motion, Honourable Speaker, that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on inspection visits to the Kenya Revenue Authority offices to ascertain the impact of revenue enhancement initiatives on revenue collection, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, November 26, 2020. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Very well. So we go to the next order.
Order number 8, the Crops Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2019, second reading. Resumption of debate.
Honourable members, we are resuming debate, and we have a debate that was interrupted on Thursday, 11th February 2021, the morning sitting. The balance of time that we have is 2 hours, 15 minutes. I'm eager to know whether there was a member on the floor. If not, then I'll proceed and give out. There was no member. So, Honourable Yusuf Haji, member for Mandera West, you want to speak to this one?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I think since agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and agriculture was the only sector that was able to grow during the COVID madness, this is the right time to make sure that we implement this Crops Amendment Bill of the National Assembly such that we continue gaining while COVID is continue affecting seriously on the other sector. Agriculture will continue gaining. And some of these acts or some of these amendment bills, like this one in particular, the Crop Amendment Bill, which is with us here, we would like it to be ensure that other crops, such as the ones which have been introduced, we make sure that they are also put in the schedule, crop schedule, and we can be able to gain from this so much. Every Kenyan, whether in urban area or in rural area, depends on the crops in one way or another. Without it, life will be very difficult. And hence, I stand to support this bill. Thank you.
Yes, on Honorable Omboko Milemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I think I want on the onset to support this bill by saying that Kenya, being founded on the agriculture as the main root of our economy, we need to harness all crops that require to be part of the scheduled crops. And this particular crop, Big Sa, is one of the crops that is doing very well, especially at the coast. And it has several values, not mentioning all of them, but including things to do with drugs, lipstick, coloring, and so on and so forth. So the people of Lamu, Kwale, and the coastal region would benefit immensely if this one is actually scheduled as a crop. And that will go a long way to actually then allow research on the crop in order to found and expand its use. It also go a long way to then create foreign exchange for the farmers and also allow research on this crop for its medicinal value, given that now we are struggling with COVID and we don't know where the drug will really come from. This could be the area. And above all, farmers will gain in terms of the value of their crop. So, Honorable Speaker, I think this is a bill that I want to fully support, and without much time taken, I want to support it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much.
And your card is always on top. What time do you put your card in here? Because
very early in the morning, Honorable Speaker, because I must earn from my sweat. That when I work, I have been taught by my parents that I should not earn where I have not worked. So I make sure that every early in the morning, I'm here before the Speaker, and I leave after the Speaker, so that whatever I earn is a blessing to my kids and is a blessing to my business. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important motion, Honorable Speaker, and agriculture being the backbone of our economy, Honorable Speaker, and also realizing that during COVID-19, the only sector that was doing well was actually agriculture. And most of us were directed back to go back to the rural areas because there was cessation of movements in towns, but there were no cessation of movements in rural areas, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, there was plenty of agricultural activities. Most of our young men, energetic, who are working in industrial area, Honorable Speaker, went back to our rural areas, hence jump-starting our agricultural sector, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, with this in mind, we need to think about this agriculture as a strategy in the post-COVID recovery strategy, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, again, we have heard of this crop called Bitsa, Honorable Speaker, which is very valuable, Honorable Speaker. It have, Honorable Speaker, antioxidant, Honorable Speaker, which remove free radicals in our system, Honorable Speaker. It's a very important crop, Honorable Speaker, but we have not been able to educate our people on this, Honorable Speaker. And it's a high time that the government think, Honorable Speaker, of marketing some of these products, not only within, but also outside this country, Honorable Speaker. Because in terms of marketing of our agricultural product, our government have totally failed, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we have very important crops, Honorable Speaker. And this crop does well in arid and semi-arid areas, regions, Honorable. I'm sure in Narok it will do well, Honorable Speaker. And it's part of Machakos and other areas, Honorable Speaker. And the moment we really invest on it, then we will economically assist our people, Honorable Speaker. And it's high time that the government invests a lot in the issue of marketing. Because before Honorable Owen Mbaya talked about this crop, some of us were not aware of this crop, even members of this House, Honorable Speaker, the benefit of this crop, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, lastly, we have to invest in agriculture seriously, Honorable Speaker. We are blessed as a country that we have water that is above, Honorable Speaker. Water that is 3,000 feet above sea level, especially in the Aberdare, Honorable Speaker. Water from Mount Kenya, Honorable Speaker. Water from Mount Elgon and Mount Kilimanjaro, Honorable Speaker. Ours as a government is only to channel this water through piping to regions of semi-arid areas. And 80% of our land, Honorable Speaker, is semi-arid. Fortunate enough, these areas are very fertile, Honorable Speaker. After a lot of soil erosion deposited soil, fertile soil from the highlands to the lowlands, Honorable Speaker. If we can channel water to these semi-arid and arid regions, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to empower our people and be able to have enough food that means food security, Honorable Speaker. We'll be able to have an alternative source of income, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for instance, we gave 10 billion to Kazi Mitaani, Honorable Speaker. We gave 10 billion to youth to go and slash and do some manual work and blocking sewages, Honorable Speaker. Yet even the grasses that we have cut have grown, Honorable Speaker. If these people were taken to irrigation schemes in our lowlands, where water is channeled from our highlands to our lowlands, Honorable Speaker, we will be having an alternative source of income as a government instead of overtaxing our citizens, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you see now the issue of fuel because of overtaxing, because you are not thinking of other channels of economically empowering our country, Honorable Speaker. The fuel here in Kenya is now at 100 and above shillings, Honorable Speaker. In Uganda, it is 60 shillings. If you translate to Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, you wonder, we have a harbor. All the fuel to Uganda passes through Kenya. But we pay more than actually the country that we give oil, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it is high time we think of ways of jump-starting the agricultural sector, not only on BITSA, but there are also other things like Ndengu, Honorable Speaker. There are, Honorable Speaker, wheat, barley, and so on. The moment we empower our farmers, I'm assuring you, Honorable Speaker, this country will be somewhere in terms of economy, Honorable Speaker. 80% of our landmass we are not using because the government have not invested a lot on agriculture. I do support this motion, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Honorable Sosion, you wanted to speak on this one or the next one? He's not even there. The Honorable Baya, yeah.
I moved this, I seconded this motion.
Sorry.
But I would like to say this, Mr.
Sorry,
Speaker,
no,
that,
if you have done it, don't
so
even
that
bother.
I can give information about this
bill. We don't require that information
at
this point in time. You will do it later. Don't flout the standing order. So we will give the Honorable Amin Kasim.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me to give my input in regards to this crop amendment bill. Kenya, as a nation, has relied heavily on crop production and agriculture as a whole, and it's a major income earner for our country. Over the years, there have been significant contributions from agriculture, but in terms of budget provision, we have not been careful in terms of apportioning significant amount of money so that we can be able to make our land more productive and more sustainable in terms of crop production and agriculture as a whole. Honorable Speaker, nearly 80% of this land is ASAL, and it has significant amount of land which can be exploited and is a major frontier for in terms of crop production and livestock production. Honorable Speaker, it is imprudent for this nation to have a certain strategic consideration so that we can be able to use specific areas where there's the strength, where there's endowment, where there's potential, so that we map this country as a whole and say this part will be used for agriculture, this part will be used for crop production. I'm familiar with the Bixa, this crop. This crop has a very significant contribution. It can be able to develop energy. It can be able to provide fruits, juices. It can be able to provide. It has significant and numerous benefits to the society. If this project...
Honorable Sankok, you realize that you have spoken to this twice. You know, that is extremely...
Speaker, in the world, the animal with the shortest memory is only the Wadok. But I doubt if I have that short memory. I don't remember really speaking on this, but if then I spoke on it, probably I've forgotten because the issues of agriculture are so many, and this one is especially the pizza. So I do apologize.
Honorable Sankok,
I do apologize.
This is not a matter, you know, of making jokes about.
I apologize.
You know, you cannot come and tell us that you have a short memory. Now, and then therefore you contribute twice. It is even morally unacceptable. It's morally unacceptable, and I might actually decide to give you mete out some punishment against you. I might actually decide to do that, to serve an example to others. Members who want to speak and pretend that they have forgotten that they spoke, and therefore take an opportunity to contribute twice when other members do not have an opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, I do apologize. I sincerely do apologize. I did not remember.
So, and it is not all the time that you want to joke about a mistake that happens.
No, I just forgot. I've just said I forgot.
Your apology must be unreserved.
I'm apologizing.
If you tell me that you had forgotten that you contributed, that is actually another mistake. So, Honorable Sankok, we must take work in Parliament a bit more seriously.
I do apologize.
So proceed and wind up.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for your indulgence, because there's tendency for Honorable Sankok to speak on every matter in the floor of this House without putting consideration of other members who significantly need to have time. And it's good that you have been able to speak on this matter. Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, as far as the ASAL is concerned, ASAL has 80% of this small land is ASAL. And it's a water-scarce region. We, as a country, have not been able to look at what opportunities we can be able to use in terms of technology, because technology is a great significance, and this country have not been able to use technology in terms of farming. Water conservation, irrigation, drip irrigation, these are some of the technological improvements which have been done in a very advanced country, which we as a country need to speak on and support, so that we can be able to realize the full potential of this country, because this country is an agricultural country. Further to that, there's a manufacturing part of it, because this is a segment. After production, we need to go to storage, and after storage, we need to go to manufacturing part of it, so that we can be able to use it significantly and get the really meaning of agriculture, being an agricultural country. Honorable Speaker, Bixa grows very well in a hot area. It has a lot of potential. The potential in the sense that it has a lot of benefit. You can be able to derive juice from it. It's a medicinal in value. So I will support this conversation in trying to promote this crop. Not only this crop, but all other dry crops that can be able to do in a dry areas, which can make us use this potential. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
So we go to the next member, the Honorable Ted Mwambire.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand to demonstrate my appreciation and support of this bill. Mr. Speaker, it is a long overdue that this country should look at to harness all the opportunities across the country for the betterment of the Republic. Mr. Speaker, for a long time, the government has never been never been putting more efforts in promoting crops which do well in other parts of the country. I believe if passage of this bill will give an indication to areas like Coast Region, whereby it will be doing well, and it will also be in a position to also appreciate what we have in the region and also be part and parcel of the promoters in this country. Mr. Speaker, I believe that even after passage of this bill, other crops will also be looked into, like cashew nut, coconut, pawpaws, pineapples. All the crops which do well in this country must be given the best support so that at least people can revert to agriculture, Mr. Speaker. We have been doing a lot, but I think this is the time we look into agriculture, and not just production, but also in manufacturing, so that we can also be exporting products and byproducts for the betterment of this nation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is my humble request that members will see the need of supporting this bill so that Bixar can be one of the great crops in this country. And I believe in after 3 or 5 years, Mr. Speaker, this country will have moved a notch higher in terms of revenue and also even export, because I know Bixar does very well along the